we're going to work on finishing off the installation of this nose cone. The idea here is there's a bulkhead in this nose cone. At the top there, you can see this hole, and the idea is that we would use hinges to connect that to the front, a hinge pin to connect this here. At one point, he had the hinge kind of taped on there, but during the transportation, it fell off. Somehow, we got to figure out how to get that hinge glued onto this bulkhead. A little bit about the nose cone here. So the stock plans have the nose cone being permanently affixed to the front with a door, which you can kind of see the outline of right here, to let you get into the front to mess with any ballast or landing lights or any of that kind of stuff that you might want to put in this hollow section here in the front. Pitot tube ballast landing lights are what people typically put up there. The previous builder got super excited about using hinges to connect panels everywhere and decided to do the same thing with the nose cone. So we've got a hinge, this is a hinge pin holding the nose cone onto the front. And we decided just to proceed with his plan to see how that goes. There was a little bit of a gap between the nose cone and the fuselage on the sides. And then obviously the nose cone fits over the fuselage, leaving a lip. So we want all this to be flush, and we could just do it with Bondo, but Bondo can chip over time. And so I've got a couple of layers of fiberglass that I've laminated inside here and then outside there to try to reduce the lip and to get rid of the gap that's on the sides here. So what we did to prep this is we took some packing tape and wrapped it all around the leading edge of this nose cone piece, and then took some Canuba wax and lubed that up, the packing tape up, and then put that over top of the glass that we've laminated about 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch underneath this side right down here. The current, as it was, it kind of rocked back and forth, which made actually aligning the pin a little bit tricky. So hopefully once all of this has been built up and set up, then the nose cone will just hopefully just pop on into just lock into one position, and getting the pins to line up won't be too bad a drama. So anyway, hopefully this comes off tomorrow. We'll find out. We got fiberglass laid up at the edge of the nose cone, and then underneath as well, which stops, now the nose cone sits on there solidly and doesn't rock. And I think that it's got a little bit of a lip there, and so it will pretty much sit on there only, well, not quite only one way, but sort of one way. And then, yeah, that slides right in. Still a little bit of a lip here that I think I want to leave this tape on and put some resin, and I think Cabo is what I'm going to use just for the first 1/4 inch all the way around, which will be a pain in the neck to sand, but it'll be more durable than micro. And we'll put that all the way around, and then hopefully pop this off again tomorrow, and everything will still be copacetic. Got the West epoxy with some colloidal silica, which is basically powdered sand, and we're just gonna lay just like 1/4 of an inch on the fuselage side of this gap here, because there's probably about a 60 thou or so lip right here. So we'll lay this in there, smooth it out, and pop this off, and then we should have a nice surface that this thing will seat against. And then when we micro this whole thing, you know, the colloidal silica will not sand away as quickly as the micro. We've got a 1/8 inch just bead of resin and colloidal silica, and that's been planed to be the same height as the nose cone. So that'll be nice and sand resistant. And then we'll let you know when we go ahead and when we finish the whole aircraft, we'll just put micro over this whole section and should blend out pretty well. Okay, another project we can start working on is installing the vents for the cockpit eyeballs. So a little hard to follow maybe. Essentially on the side of the aircraft we're going to put a NACA duct and then connect that NACA duct up to the back side of this vent. I'm not sure I'm going to use this vent. It's fine. But I'd like to try to get an aluminum vent if I can find one, maybe at a salvage yard someday in the next year. So I think what I'll do is I will kind of get the whole thing set up and have the last little bit of ducting here be a separate part, so that I can, if I get a different eyeball vent, I can set that up. And I think I won't put the hole in the instrument panel for this vent and wait, but I will put in the NACA duct and fabricate some of this tubing. They say use scat tubing. I think I'm just gonna print the whole thing out of our laser level to mark out the position of the duct on both sides, and then give us a nice plumb line so that it's not canted when we look from the side. We printed out our NACA scoop, 2 square inches. We're gonna mount that here, and we just made a quick little template off the back side of where we're going to cut the fiberglass. I had 2 options on how we could do this. Either we can just mount this lip flush with the outside skin, or we could remove the outside skin out to where this lip is, recess it, and then glass over the top of it. I think I'm just gonna cut it to this inside shape, recess it, and then we'll just smooth out this lip with micro during the finishing stage. That'll be fine, I think. We'll find out. Future Tom will know. We got this duct in, and now we need to go from here to there. Well, I was gonna just glue these and then fair this in, but curve on this side is not quite the same as the other one, and so this one is definitely rockering back and forth because it's on a curve. What we'll do is we'll recess these and we'll mount it so that this top here is either recessed a little bit, and we'll glass over the top a little bit, or maybe just the same level as, and then we'll just micro the whole thing in, probably. So that means we gotta scribe around here and then cut out a little bit more. Scribe around, we'll cut out a little bit more, pull that top skin off, and then this should sit, and we may have to route out a little bit of the foam to get it to fit flush, but that's the plan. That's what we'll do. Foam's cut out. Remove a little bit of the foam to get it to fit flush all around, and same thing on the other side. Okay, so we got the skins pulled off of this, so these will fit in flush, and we can cut that foam back a little bit. But the real question now is, how am I going to transition from this scoop to the eyeball vent? So we're gonna have to make an adapter kind of piping or whatever, but first step we did is added this little section right here, and then we'll have an adapter that will, so I'm going to glass, this is what I'm going to print, I'm going to glass that in, and then we'll have an adapter that fits over this section right here, hopefully you can see, and then makes that transition over to the eyeball vent. So to build that adapter, I just sketched up kind of a rough approximation of the fuselage, showing just kind of how that fuselage tapers in a little bit. Got our vent scoop that we printed, added that to this assembly. Basically just the back half of the eyeball vent. So we got a transition between these two shapes. We came up with something that looks like that. And I think the gold part, eventually what we'll do is we'll print that out of TPU. Maybe we'll print the whole thing out of TPU, but sort of that shape. So we got our vent assembly printed. Here's our adapter. That slides in like so. So on this side it'd be like that. And then this slides in like that. Here's our NACA duct now printed out of ASA. Need to sand it so that the epoxy and paint will stick to it, and we'll go ahead and install it. We put one layer of glass over the top of this. This is just a plug. Adhered without getting a bunch of glass and resin onto the plastic down here. Right side's glassed in. Just got to cut it, this plug out. Had a little section here that did not bond. Not sure why, what I did wrong there, but we'll put some epoxy up there and then put a clamp on it and should be good to go. So this is our throttle quadrant. A couple things about this. We want to make a couple of additions to this thing, or think about a couple of things. One is want to make sure we have a good plan for throttle friction or friction control. I think right now really the friction control is just tightening up the washers that pull it all together. The other thing that we want to think about is some sort of switch or sensor that lets us know when we're at 80 to 100% power, so we can use that to give us a warning if we've got the canopy open or the landing brake open. So, and also if the throttle goes back, do we want to end the front gear is not down, then we might want a warning as well. So a couple of sensors on here we want to add. The other thing thinking about it is I want these handles to be unique so that you can feel them and know by touch what they are. I think what I'm going to do is I can take one of these off here and put it there to make a T, and then we can make another knob that's maybe got some ridges on it for the mixture, so we'll be able to tell everything apart. And then I'd like to get the knobs either anodized in different colors or powder coated in different colors. So those are all things we want to do. It doesn't need to be done today or even before we get, but it will need to get done before we go flying. So that's just something we're going to be thinking about. And the landing brake actuator cover is done. We're just going to use some screws just to screw this into the back of the seat to secure it. But we just added this 90-degree flange. Moving forward, we've got the throttle quadrant set up. We've got to do a little bit of additional glass work, fill this in, and glass over it, put a notch in it. Right on. Well, we got that's all ready to be glass, just a layer of glass over that. Got a slot down the middle here for the throttle cables. So we got this all glassed over and sanded down, and later on we'll carve out this center slot for the cables and attach the throttle quadrant and press on. Well, it's the end of February and it's still cold in the shop, so got pretty much everything we could do on the fuselage done. before we finish off the strakes, which we're going to just have to wait for warmer weather to get that done. So we're going to move the fuselage out into the hangar and doing the finishing work on the canard. That's what's up. So thanks for watching. If you enjoy this content, then like and subscribe. We'll keep making more and build on. Thanks.